Welcome back to Heart of the Matter. I look around me in all the things that God Almighty created, and I always see three elements that recur themselves in everything: purpose, function, and a message that God is trying to convey to us through them. On the other hand, I cannot help but also notice that the way God packages function, purpose, and the message is simply beautiful and stunning. It almost feels to me sometimes that God exerts effort when He doesn't. That God goes out of His way when He doesn't need to, in order to ensure that the message is not only functional, purposeful, and accessible to us, but also to package it in a beautiful way to appeal to our hearts, to draw us in. It is as if that God holds those objects so beautiful and so shiny, so that it attracts our attentions and we come to it and we draw ourselves nearer to it, and that's when we subscribe to it and the message that lies underneath. And that, brothers and sisters, humbles me. It makes me appreciate my Lord. It makes me love Him more. It makes me want to know Him more and know about Him more, to know His universe more, and to know about myself even more. God tells us in the Quran, سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقِّ. I will show them my signs on the horizons and in their own selves, until it becomes manifest to them that this is the truth. And that led me to a remarkable discovery. I realized that nothing God created that is so beautiful without being so functional. And nothing out there is perfectly functional without being very, very beautiful. Take a tree, for example. Trees are trees. We can't live without them. My wife always says, I cannot imagine myself living in a world without trees. Trees provide us with oxygen. They are windbreakers. They strengthen the soil underneath. Tree is a natural habitat for all kinds of life forms and organisms and birds and squirrels and insects and bugs, things we know and things we don't know anything about. Its own complete independent ecosystem. But let me ask you this question. Is it necessary for the leaves of the trees to be so diverse in colors so the tree is able to achieve its function and provide us with oxygen? Was it necessary for God to create such a remarkable diversity of trees everywhere, different colors and sizes, if it was just about function? But it's not just about trees, right? One of my favorite verses in the Quran, God talks about mountains. أَلَمْ تَرَ أَنَّ اللَّهَ أَنزَلَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً فَأَخْرَجْنَا بِهِ ثَمَرَاتٍ مُخْتَلِفًا أَلْوَانُهَا وَمِنَ الْجِبَالِ جُدَدٌ بِيضٌ وَحُمْرٌ مُخْتَلِفٌ أَلْوَانُهَا وَغَرَابِيبُ سُودٌ. Specifically talks about mountains and how some mountains are red, some mountains are white, some mountains are black. Why? If it's just about creating mountains for a particular purpose, why is it that God uses the hands of an artist to create such a beautiful, elegant, and diverse world? And I realized, brothers and sisters, that it is not just about small examples from our world. This is an underlying logic, a pattern, if you will, that exists in everything that God created. Look at the universe, celestial bodies and cosmic systems. When you look at the stars, what do you see? You see perfect functionality. They're perfect in orbit, in speed, in motion, in density, inertia, momentum. Everything about the universe is perfect. People go to school and get their PhDs studying the perfection of the universe. Laws of physics, right? However, the average person looks at the stars and just sees beauty. The universe is a stunning place. As a child, my dad used to take me on those nature walks. And you have to understand something. My dad was a chemist. He was a scientist. His mind works in terms of equations and elements and the periodic table. But I don't remember him ever talking to me during those nature walks about helium and nitrogen and oxygen and orbit and diameter and radius and the perfect functionality of the universe or the laws of physics. I remember him talking to me about constellations. And so when I was a kid, I looked at the universe. I didn't see elements. I didn't see perfect function. All I saw was bears, dragons, and dolphins. I enjoyed the beauty of the universe while I bonded with my dad. And those were some of the most cherished childhood memories I ever had. The thing is, though, if I'm saying that there is an underlying logic, this harmony between beauty and function that exists in everything God created, would you or would you not agree with me that it must manifested itself in the greatest creation God ever brought to this world? The answer is obviously yes. As men and women of faith, you will say yes, right? But then you will ask me a question that is just as important, and you will say, well, what is the greatest creation God ever brought to this world? And I will answer that question right after the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Heart of the Matter.